What's up? What's up? We're here at.
Wake up.
You're right. You are so right. Shred'em has not kicked in yet.
Mine has.
But, yeah, so we are here. Big Talk. Podcast where we want you to believe in yourself, inspire others, and grow on a daily basis. So what's up, man? What's going on?
Man, I just did hamstrings before I got here, and I'm dead. That's why I took my Shred'ems.
There you go.
Product placement. We got nothing on the table. Took my Shred'em to wake me up, but yeah, it was a rough one. But How about you, man? I know you went to Stevie's.
Yeah, his football camp today, man. That was good. We his last year. For those that don't know, he was in was in a wheelchair for 4 or 5 months, and he had what's called osteochondral defect. Basically, the cartilage under his kneecap was just coming loose, and it was causing him a lot of pain. And we were training for his first year of tackle football last year, and when we started trying to do drills, his knees would just kill him. And you as a parent, sometimes you don't know whether you should push your kid or not push your kid. And some of me is thinking, well, maybe he was doing too much, and maybe we were, because there was one for a few years where he played basketball and football in the same season, quite a few times a year, probably like twice a year he was doing that. You just wonder, man, was I pushing him too hard? But ultimately, it's his body. It's just that was just something that was going to happen.
Does he still have the holes in him, or are they healed completely?
They healed completely right now. So right now we spend a lot of time just make sure there's a great balance of strength between the quad and the hamstrings, and make sure his IT bands aren't too tight.
Okay.
So that the knee is not overstressed in one direction.
Okay. So can it happen again? Like if you
Yeah, absolutely, it can happen again. Yeah. But before he was talking about being a running back, being a receiver, and his whole athletic, football career in flag has been as a quarterback. So we are back into that mode where we're talking about being a quarterback, and he worked with some really good guys. Fred Canteen up at Alpha did a great job with him this morning, and Nico as well. They were putting him through drills and stuff that he's never done before, because he's never had any formal training. He's all kind of self-taught and, having catch with dad and having a catch with, his friends. So he's just always had a great arm. At 2 years old, he was spinning a spiral 20 yards, So, it's crazy. He's just always had that natural talent. And you can see as they were breaking down his form this morning that it's not textbook, but you always wonder as a parent, am I being biased? Am I looking at my kid going, he's awesome, but I'm being biased to what to what I see, because you love your kid, you can measure. So they validated. They were like, his arm's amazing. If he can get into the consistency of training and getting in here all the time, he's going to be awesome. So.
Yeah, obviously you see your son way more than I do, but when I look at him, I don't really necessarily see running back like at all. Just based off his stature, obviously he's only 12, 13? 14, yeah. 14.
Just 14.
So he obviously has not had his growth spurt yet, but like based off your genetics and how I see him now, I don't really see him as running back, like prevailing as running back, but more so definitely a quarterback, just based off his build.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think that I can put limitations on him, but what I always told him is, you're not the prototypical running back, wide receiver. So if you want to do those things, you have to work a little harder. You have to work a little harder.
Yeah.
And but he kind of decided for himself, because he doesn't like to run. Like, he enjoys catching. He enjoys trying to juke somebody, but he likes to run very short distance, and he doesn't like to
perfect for a quarterback.
Right. Exactly. I see these receivers, man, that are like playing in college, because that's the advantage of being there at that Alpha training facility, is that he's out there training with some guys that are in college, and pros were there over the recently. So he's seeing that level of speed, and it's a different level, man. I see these guys that don't even look like it's like effortless to go 30 yards. It looks like all they did was one step and boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
And you don't see the average person doesn't move that way. They just have it's like they're floating when they run. Everything's soft. It's just like and they just go forever. Like when I was training this cornerback one time from New England Patriots, he years ago, back in the early 2000s, he he said, "Yeah, I don't condition. I just never get tired." And he just literally said, "As a kid, I never got tired. I never get tired. I can run. I never trained for it. I can run 2-3 miles and not even be a big deal." And I was like, "Really? You don't train for it?" He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "I don't need to train for it." And consequently, that's probably why he didn't go far, because that natural talent. I imagine almost everyone in the league has that natural talent.
Can't be like, well, I'll get into that in a second, but yeah, you can't be in like pro at anything without genetics. Obviously, we talked about it, and everything, but you can't do that, especially and when you say he didn't go far, do you think it's because since he had that natural talent, he didn't put
the effort in?
Yep.
Yeah, behind it. I mean, like, you know, talent is one thing, and natural gifts is one thing, natural capabilities. But if you don't put the hard work and consistency and effort behind it, it's only going to take you so far, because eventually you're going to get to a point where everybody's got that talent.
Yep.
And now it's about who has more heart, who's willing to work harder. You know, so I mean, again, that's my story. That's how I end up kind of starting to do really well as a bodybuilder. Is, you know, pretty much to turn pro, it was tough, but I always had the potential. It was just a matter of locking in and not being inconsistent in my off season. And, you know, 2 good off seasons and I was a pro. Pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's 2 good off seasons. 2008, 2009, I was a pro. Where I didn't dick around eating shitty food all the time. You know, missing workouts. I mean, like when I was powerlifting and hitting crazy numbers and becoming a national champion, world champion, all that stuff, I still would deadlift like every other week because I would go see my girl at college and miss the training. So, you know, could I have been even better? Absolutely. The workouts my coach was telling me to do on the weekend, I did them half the time. So it wasn't until, and that's an interesting fact, because they say as an adult, you have to have something painful happen to you to change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
my ACL tear.
Right. So, you know, for me, it took being on the Olympia stage, hating the way I looked in 2012, and the world seeing me to make me change my attitude and mindset to, all right, well, there is no more skating past this thing. I gotta work.
Yep.
And you know, I mean, I always train. No doubt, anybody who's trained with me knows I've always trained hard. But you know, a pick here, a pick there on the diet was something that pretty much plagued me my entire amateur career. To a point where I would just get crazy fat in the off season and diet back down for the show. But when you got to be a pro, I mean, everybody's got round musculature. Everybody can get in shape. Everybody has beautiful symmetry. They wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Now it's about the little details. So, you know, when I was still doing my cheat meals up until 6 weeks out, it wasn't until I got my ass kicked on the Olympia stage I was like, yeah, I can't be doing it no more. So,
and was that the one story you was telling us? I think when Jess was here, where we were talking about, he was like, "Yeah, I don't feel like being here."
Jay Cutler, yeah, that was terrible, man. That was the worst. That was the worst feeling ever, man. I was talking about one that just, you know, hide away in a cab somewhere and just drive off. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, you know, and the worst part about it is it's not just you. Like, you know, to be disappointed in yourself is one thing, but to be up there and know you have a legion of fans cheering for you, man. Like, I mean, there people were posting pictures, you know, because the screen from afar didn't look too bad. You know, I know what I looked like up there. Like, I mean, I was tight, but I wasn't tight. You know, I wasn't ripped, and it wasn't a good look for the Mr. Olympia, you know. And thank God I can pose the way I can pose, because that pushed me along and want more people to see me, you know. But when I came back to the Arnold, I was so focused, man. I was so focused, and you know, that was definitely one of my best looks, because I was just so focused, you know, and that's the hardest part, like, is getting focused and staying in that mindset as long as it takes.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, man.
I feel like that goes with anything.
Anything.
Because, like, you know, I just have my annual training for the military and everything. and we just had our meeting on Tuesday, and that was probably the first day back from like just back to regular life of me training people, and that's it. And like you said, sitting in a meeting, I'm just not myself, and it's just because I was laser focused from when I first started till the day I ended driving back and forth from Dover, then coming back to the office, then going back home, sleeping for 6 hours, rinse, repeat, going back and forth. So I was just focused on getting through, making sure I retained my clients, and working in the military at the same time.
Sure.
As soon as I had nothing to focus on like that intently, I would just die, just crash. And obviously everybody in the meeting saw it and everything like that. And it wasn't even like I was in a bad mood or anything. It's just like, yo, I'm tired, I'm recovering, not content on the number of people I have training right now, with obviously coming back from COVID and everything like that. So obviously seeing how focused I was on just sustaining, and then seeing what I sustain put me in a place. So I was like, feel like if you can't focus on something and keep that focus and keep that, maintaining that focus through anything, you're not going to make it through anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the hardest part, like when we talk about all the time, it's like, in our business with the personal training, well, any business, you know, it's like you have a level of success and it's very easy to get comfortable really quickly. But the problem is the saying that we're never the same, it's either getting worse or getting better, is so true. Because the minute you think, okay, I'm good, I'm making enough money, someone to drop off.
Yep.
And if you're not doing the same legwork day in and day out, I mean, my book's always, you know, 60 plus appointments, and me getting sick for 2 weeks in COVID, and not staying on top of it, and not doing the same things, you know, I look at my book when I come back and I'm like, what? What?
You doing my numbers.
I'm like, what? And, you know, and it took me, you know, and again, it only took me maybe a day or two to pump it back up, but, you know, because I wasn't making the phone calls, because I wasn't putting emails out there, because I wasn't doing the social media, because I wasn't doing all those things that I do on a daily basis to build my business, I just stopped for 2 weeks because I was sick or, you know, just unmotivated.
No, I want to stop you real quick on that. For the people who don't know, Mr. Smalls had the Rona.
Yeah, I had COVID.
For the people that don't know, because obviously I talked to you in between on the phone and whatnot, what was your experience with that from when you found out until when you came back to work?
I mean, the physical side of it, I had a fever a couple days. I had some bad coughing for a couple days. And I felt lethargic for a few days. The second week was just like a bad vacation. Like, come on, man, I just want my results so I can get back into work, and most importantly, hug my family. I couldn't touch my family. You know, that's big for me. Like, not being able to hug my children. You know, my older two went to their mom's house. My younger two are here, but I can't go near them. Couldn't kiss my wife. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm not built that way, right? So I like interaction, and so that was the hardest part. But as far as the physical side of it, I could see if you weren't strong, if you weren't in shape, if you didn't have good health, how it would really get you. Because I mean,
you say I didn't cut you off, but you said when you came back, you felt a little weak.
Yeah. It took me about a week to get back to where I felt like I wasn't dying to walk up a flight of steps. You know, do like, you know, 2 exercises and you feel like, God, man, I feel like I'm insane. I can't move. You know, or the mud. You know, I just feel like, oh God, it's just like everything was double the effort, basically. Okay. You know, but
you feel back to normal?
Yeah, I felt good. This past week was a great week of training for me. You know, I've been going hard. July 1st of 2019, I got back from Disney with my family, and I made the decision at that point that I was going to get back on stage. You know, me and Chris got back together, started working together again. You know, just really focused in, and from July 1st of 2019 till the pandemic hit,
in March,
the only time I ever cheated was when Chris told me to cheat. I didn't miss no workouts. I didn't miss no cardio. I mean, I was perfect because, you know, when I started, I was fat and small. So Chris had a hell of a job to do, get me back into shape. And, you know, we were in Disney and the kids were like, Dad,
put a shirt on.
Yeah, like, you know, the last time I went to Disney, they were like, put a shirt on, Dad. You can't get nowhere, because everybody was taking pictures with me and everything. and oh my God, this guy's so big. Now they're like, Dad, put a shirt on, you embarrassing. So, you know, it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely. Let's just put it this way: nobody was coming up to me and asking me how much I benched. You know, I mean, I get some really creative ones. This guy came up to me today. He's like, "Remember me? You used to work out?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one." I was like, "Nah, we worked out." He's like, "Nah, I'm just playing. I just wish I worked out like that." You know, I was like, "That's a good one. I got to use that one." I've heard some silly ones, but that was a good one. That was a good one.
It's actually I have a client now. It's, he's either your dentist or he works at your dentist's office. His name's Kevin Howell. I don't know if you remember that, but he remembers you. And he said, "Yeah, man, I ain't seen him in a while." And I said, "I ain't trying to get that big, but he work out." I was like, "Yeah, just a little bit."
Yeah, I walked in the training center, and Dawn and Paul were in there, and they're like, "Man, you look like you're really gaining your thickness back. You're really getting bigger." And I'm laughing because it's like all month I just been kind of eating 2 or 3 meals a day, just kind of doing what I want to do with the food. You know, I mean, at the gym, obviously I'm eating clean.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's just I feel better when I eat clean. So my breakfast is pretty much consistently oatmeal every morning, and then the proteins kind of change a little bit, whether it's eggs, and then whatever shit food was from the night before. But I figure if I'm getting it in the morning, my insulin sensitivity levels are better, right? So
that mean it's better than doing it at the end of the day where it's not being used.
Yeah, problem is sometimes I'm doing it at the end of the day too.
Oh, damn.
But you know, I'm not like sitting down and you know, I'm trying to be mindful so that when me and Chris start back up, I got at least have my abs still. And I walked in the training center today, and Paul's like, "Man, your calves are all veiny. You're looking all big." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's just I just think it's the pizza from last night pushing, making me look bloated." You know?
Well, you made fun of me. Was it Friday actually? Because I forgot my chicken and potato
French fries.
eggs. Well, look, so I had my French fries and my chicken wrap, right? And I put a shit ton of salt on it, but I tell you one thing, that combined with the Stay Swole, my pump was good.
Oh, right.
So
I know.
all that salt, the carbs.
Sodium is so important. People underestimate that, man.
And then let's talk about that, because I remember my mom, because like I said, I come from a heavier side. My mom's side of the family is more heavy set,
right.
And she's concerned about my health and was a kid growing up, which is understandable. But she always said, salt this, salt that, which is what you hear in the black community all the time. You don't need all that sodium. You're going to get your leg cut off and whatnot.
I ain't never heard that, but go ahead.
Diabetes, hypertension.
Diabetes, yeah, for sure, yeah. When anybody's saying diabetes but salt, they need to...
You gotta say,
stop that.
The generic diabetes, hypertension, black thing. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
But so when I started doing this, and then obviously I did my research on the sodium in regards to having more efficient workout and having, because when I like most of your competitors, as I experienced it, all I ate before I got on stage was salt on rice cakes and jelly. First of all, I didn't know that even tasted good, but that salt and jelly mixture is so good. It's just salt at the salt at the salt behind the stage to make you look better on stage. But then you get somebody who's sedentary, then that's when they get hypertension because their body's not doing anything with it.
Absolutely. I mean, people like even in our RMR product here. You know, people that follow the vertical diet, Stan Effering's always talking about 300 milligrams of sodium before you train, and we have that in there.
Okay.
Because sodium is such an important electrolyte.
You know the camera's right there. That's why I turned it down.
Is it right there?
Yeah. Because that camera's pointing at me.
Oh, okay. And this one's at me. Okay,
yeah.
Got it. So right there is right there is the is this formula right here. We have a hydration formula in our RMR that's basically, you know, all your electrolytes, everything to improve hydration. So, yeah, we took care of that component in that product. But, yeah, man, I think, you know, I think when I get ready August 1st, I'll be ready, rejuvenated. You know, the other thing is, like, there's just so many nagging injuries and stuff. So, you know, like, when we had the practice this morning for my son, I used that time to stretch, man, and that's really what I've been trying to do more of, is stretch. Because as I get older, everything tightens up, and it's harder to recover.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a slight age difference, but for me, I was trying to give you. I'm about to be 30 soon, so I was trying to give you the benefit.
Don't act like there ain't 14-year-olds out there with some kids, you know.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
but for me, like ever since I had my injuries, like my torn MCL, my torn ACL, cyst on my meniscus, and my rotated hips. I feel like now if I don't stretch either before I go to sleep or, well, especially, no, I use this one especially. If I don't stretch before I go to sleep, my ankle and my calf are tight. If I don't stretch out my glutes before I go to sleep.
Right.
But with me doing the Olympic weightlifting and everything I'm doing now, I'm trying to activate my muscles more and engage them more so I don't have them tight all the time. Because like we spoke on the last podcast where the Olympic weightlifting has more intrigues with your body and whatnot, I want to make sure that I'm correct in my whole form of my body so I don't have to worry about that. Granted, I'm still going to stretch daily and whatnot, but I don't want to have to worry about getting a feeling pain because of something that my existing injury that I could correct.
Right.
Where a lot of people don't do that in lifting. They're just like, I just work around it.
Yeah.
And that's how you become more stiff,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
pain.
sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, you know, for me, like, it's odd. It's more like nerve related because something's pinching. Like sometimes I get up and I'll be fine. Other times I get up and my hip is like, you know, I think you've seen me do that thing where my hip is just like, it's like a sharp pain.
Yeah.
And I have to like stretch it out. So, and I've actually had doctors be like, well, maybe you ought to try acupuncture. You know, it's bad when medical doctors tell you, maybe you ought to try acupuncture. But they're like, you know, reality of the stress on your body over time, gravity's real. You know, the body's only meant to handle so much. So,
Yeah.
you know, all the years of just trying to push heavy weight. I feel has taken a toll on me. So I've been trying to be smarter about it. And and I think what helps me truly is like, it's a benefit for me to train by myself because I'm trying to beat numbers instead of trying to beat the next person.
Yeah.
And I can pace myself. But then I miss that intensity, and that's why I love training with a partner. You know, so trying to find a marriage between the two it's been my goal right now. So that I can keep doing this for another, 4 or 5 years at a competitive level.
So eventually, obviously, you're going to stop bodybuilding at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I can stop now. That's why it's important for me to get on stage this year because, I don't. There's really no reason other than just the love of it. Like, for a while I was like, oh, can I make an income? But I mean, the businesses are good enough now and they do well enough that and I got plans to do more businesses. So it's like that's not really the driving force anymore. The money's not the issue. The love of performing. Well, I don't know. I question sometimes can I perform at the same level because the pain that's involved with performing at that level. Like I would guest post weekend after weekend after weekend, and it would take me till Wednesday to be able to walk, and that's before my heel was as bad as it is now. So, for a promoter to pay you a couple $1,000s to do something where if you just, if I just focused on my business, can triple that. You know what I mean? It's like, is it worth the pain? So my goal right now is to get back on stage and to see if I still got that love for it.
Okay.
I mean, there's no high like being on that stage, but I mean, how I can get that same high with public speaking.
True. Just
so
gotta get out your own way for that.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of basically, I'm kind of undecided right now what I want to do, and that's actually what actually gets me down sometimes. I'm like, I like having clear direction. For those years where I was at the top of my sport, and competing and on the list of who's of who right now, I was so driven, and bodybuilding was priority. And the businesses were there, but the bodybuilding was priority, and I knew that. And because I knew that, it wasn't a sacrifice to push the business aside for a second because I try to have the right people in place.
Yeah.
And then I focused on the bodybuilding, and then we were doing well with the bodybuilding, so it didn't matter. And I enjoyed it. The pain was just a part of the process. The sacrifice, the dieting, the suffering, all that stuff was just fun because it was part of the process of what it was going to take to be on stage. But if you don't love it,
it's just pain now.
It's just not fun, right? So, and my reasonings for wanting to compete are linked a lot to other people. Like I got one buddy that says to me all the time, you can do business the rest of your life. You only get this small window left for bodybuilding.
True.
Then I look at like a Dexter Jackson and go, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And then I look at my kids that are saying, Dad, we want to see you compete. We want to see you compete. We want to go on stage and guest post with you, like my younger ones.
Yeah.
and then Monica wants a dream of her and I being on Olympian stage one day together. Which
that is a goal and a half. I'm not saying she can't do it. I'm saying for you, for you to keep loving it up to that point.
I mean, I have full confidence that my daughter's going to be a pro.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that at all. But I'm just saying, like we're talking right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the motivation there. But the reality of the situation is, when I was getting ready for the Arnold in March, I was focused, man. I traveled, never broke the diet. We were out launching the business at the Arnold Classic. Definitely underwhelming circumstances.
Super
underwhelming circumstances. But we were out there just to create a presence so people could see that big sports was a thing.
Yeah.
And we walked around, our names were on the banners and stuff, and we got to hand out the awards to Dexter and those guys, and I was ready to battle the next week, 2 weeks later, against them in Australia. I mean, I was focused. I mean, we do all that, get done all the expos and everything, it'd be 11:30 midnight, and I'm down there doing 60 minutes of cardio without even a thought. It wasn't even a thought to miss it. People were like, oh man, let's go to the after party. Sorry, dude, can't. I was focused. I was in that zone. So maybe it's just that I'm burnt out because we were doing it all year. Maybe it's the fact that I don't believe most of these shows are going to happen. Like we had shows, I had competitors compete last weekend. Jessica Perez, second in her first IFBB Pro show. We have a couple guys competing today. Haven't got those outcomes yet, but
which show?
Down in Florida, Typo Classic, which Big Sports is sponsoring. They're doing, and they both look on point. So it's really a matter of, do we think the show is going to happen? But nothing in the Northeast. I mean, just canceled another show this past week, Lehigh.
Oh, damn, yeah, because I got Emmons doing that.
Just canceled that, and so I don't know. I think sometimes that kind of plays with you in like New York. Nothing's open, so how are they going to have a New York Pro? So I think right now my sights are set on the Legion Fest, and I think it's in Arizona or Nevada, one or two, in the end of October. So we're going to try and do that maybe, but it depends.
It's the world we live in, the pen world.
Yeah.
It's like, what we doing tomorrow? I don't know. It depends.
I know, man. Everything is like, you get next to people, you're like still fist bumping them, and you see people that, like I'm a hugger, man. And it's like, it's funny because I saw this guy today, and he's so excited. He started with me at 230 pounds at the beginning of the pandemic, and now he's under 190. And his goal was to be under 190 for his 40th birthday party, and he's going to make it. And his 40th birthday is Tuesday. Okay. So I was dropping off some pain venom and RMR to him, and he's like, "Man, I just want to thank you." He's like, "My marriage is better, my relationship with my kids is better. I just love getting up every day, and I don't mind going to work. I enjoy it. He's just like enjoying life because he feels so much better about himself. And that's like, our job's so rewarding, man. Like you get to help people like that. It's just it's a game changer.
Yeah.
This guy probably went from no sex life to all the sex he can handle right now because his belly's not bigger than his dicky do. You know what I mean? So it's like. That's huge, though.
Yeah,
that's huge, bro.
It's funny, but it's true. But it's funny how, like, when we were meeting, we were saying fire niche, and everything like that. And when I first started here, my niche was athletes, training people, best performance and whatnot. So mine was more performance-based. But then as I started thinking about it more, especially after the meeting and everything, I don't feel like mine's is first, like, athletes are definitely my secondary now. Where, like, before I go any further, like, everybody knows for you, yours is physique transformation. Obviously, stage, everyday people, just changing your whole physique. That's the thing, everybody knows that. But for me, now I think it's more so correcting people's body. Not necessarily movement-wise. So that also goes in with athletes, and obviously you can correct your movement and then make you a more powerful athlete, add more weights, training, plyometrics, all that. That's secondary as opposed to just correcting your body to make it work better. Because like with me, my own injuries, and then the people I know who help with that. Like my boy right now, he has jumper's knee, and we're working with that to help him because he likes to run. He wanted to be able to dunk by the end of the summer, and he's like 5'7" or something like that. And he has hops, but every time he tries now, because of everything else beforehand, squatting heavy, playing basketball for like 5 hours, he said, right after he was squatting heavy, he messed up his whole knee and everything like that. So we're working together now to help him fix his knee and slowly work into progression with that to get better. And I find more enjoyment out of that. It's like, yo, I can squat now. No problem, no pain, no nothing now. So I think that's my niche now.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
The more I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this profession is that you can find any direction you want to go into. You know what I mean? There's a softer approach, there's a harder approach, there's a more practical approach. But whatever approach you want to take to it, I think the key thing is just keep expanding your knowledge, man. Like I think a lot of us when we get into this, if you don't love it, then your knowledge, your desire, your joy, of learning the process and expanding it becomes limited. Because it's so funny what we learned 20 years ago, 10 years ago is altered or different than what they're trying to say now. You know, and it's funny because with bodybuilding or losing body fat and gaining muscle, what I like to say is that we try and teach you to be lean forever. And when you increase muscle tissue, you increase your lean body mass, you increase your resting metabolism. If we increase the amount of muscle tissue you carry, your insulin sensitivity is better because your body has more receptors for the insulin to respond to. Right? So these are just basic things that, if people would listen to them, they would be able to stay lean forever. The problem with that is it's not easy to do that, right? Because one, to train as hard as you need to put on muscles, it means you got to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
To make sure that you're maintaining good blood sugar levels most of the time, it means you're not eating a whole lot of junk. And to, and basically all the things that really don't coincide with today's society. Patience.
Nobody's patient, especially my generation.
Patience. I want to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks, and
like what?
For what? You're just going to put it right back on.
The body, you're going to look horrible.
Yeah, the body is normalizes. I mean, the body is the most adaptive machine there is. So if you do that to you, it's going to react the opposite way once you start eating again.
It's just like a rubber band.
Yeah. So that's what's the problem in this profession. The frustrating thing about the profession, look, there's a reason why Weight Watchers has a lot of repeat business.
Yeah, because I had the Herbalife. Somebody come here just did a Herbalife with me. Let me phrase that. They started following my diet with me, and I think I had them for like 3 months, and they were so upset. They was like, I'm barely moving on the scale. I'm not going anywhere. When I was on Weight Watchers, I lost 25 pounds in 7 days. I'm like, first of all, are you okay? Because it's not healthy at all.
That's his water weight.
And if I remember correctly, we lost 11 pounds of body fat and put on like 7 pounds of muscle in that time frame. And
12 weeks.
Roughly 12 weeks. Even in that 12 weeks, she was kind of BSing, so she could have did a lot more with her body frame. But then I showed her, I'm like, look, yes, your scale roughly stayed the same, but look at the number of body fat that we changed. You were like 30 pounds of body fat, and then now you're around 18, somewhere around there. It's just like, so the difference is there. You say you see a change in your body. Your significant other sees a change in your body. Random people that you just know from work see it in your body. So it's just like, that's there. It's all there.
Right.
It's just like, so stop getting. That's one thing. I'm not going to say this person by name. It just irks my soul. I was working with her for, I think, a year almost, and didn't follow the diet. I know she didn't follow the diet, but so hooked up on what the scale said. No matter how much change she made in her body, people telling her she looked good and everything like that. I even said to her, if I get you to your body how you want to look, like your dream body, muscle, zero fat, whatever you want out of your dream body, if I got it to look the way you want it, but the scale stayed exactly the same, would you be okay with that? She just straight up said no. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I could do for you past this.
Well, it's hard to stick to your ethics when you have a client like that, because it's like, you're like, all right, look, I can just go ahead and play with the carbohydrates, increase the cardio, and then drop the sodium the day before you weigh in, and you're going to be weigh a whole lot less, And so you have to find out, like people, the best diet is the one you're going to adhere to, right? And when people are in a situation where they're just like, they're not listening to you, sometimes you got to pull back and be like, why did you hire me? I got a guy right now, man, I'm working with, and he's like, I want these abs, I want lower back. So he's got abs.
Yeah.
I mean, he started me, he had a pot belly. He got abs now. But he's like, now he wants the lower back fat. Now, that's stubborn fat. His body has no reason to lose that fat.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? Frequent changes in the diet, making the body feel like it needs to utilize that energy.
Yeah.
And making sure that your body feels like it's getting enough, that it's not going to store any body fat. So I put him on a high carb day for 2 days, right? Increase, refeed, get the metabolism spiked, and then we drop those calories back out, right? And he says he felt bloated on the second day, so he went to just chicken and broccoli. And I'm like, you just screwed up my entire process. Like we're supposed to be loading the muscle with glycogen, increasing the calorie consumption, so your thyroid levels don't slow down. Because when your blood sugar levels are low for too long, your thyroid production drops.
Yeah.
So it's like everything we're trying to do, you're gonna mess it up because you think you know best. Why did you hire me?
And that's the thing that gets me. You wouldn't tell a doctor, I say, you got cancer, do this. Like, you know what? I heard over here that you get rid of cancer like this by drinking bleach. I'm gonna do that instead. What?
What?
You're not going to question the doctor, so why are you going to question me as a professional? Just because everybody has access to the internet, which is a great place, but you read one thing that says this. You read another article about the exact same thing that gives you another side of it, and then you got the other side that's just like, why make it so much harder on yourself when you legit hired me to do something for you, and then you're going to question me after I do it?
Well, the key is to name something. Name, I don't know, we can call it something like, I don't know, red. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. We name something and we marketed it and come out with it as a fad diet because that's what everybody gets excited about, man. I mean, it's the next new thing. I got a person right now who, we come back from
we should do that. Huh? We should do that.
Yeah, we should, right? We come back from quarantine. She gained a decent amount of weight. We lose it, then we get sick. Come back, not too much progress lost in the fat loss. We lost the muscle. We're supposed to be getting ready for a show, and it's like she's like all in love with Stand Up for Rings vertical diet.
Yo, we already got in trouble once.
Shut up, listen. Just don't mention names, right? So,
no names,
right? So we
I'm not apologizing.
Well, nothing to apologize for. This is the truth, and and then I get another text that says I want to try the carnivore diet, and now a week ago you was in love with the vertical diet, and it's because you're searching, like you're at that middle point where you're not quite tight yet, you're not quite as thick, so everything's starting to loosen up. So you're in that middle, that no man's land. You just got to push through a little bit longer, and you're gonna love the way you look. But the mental side of this game is so serious for people. People they want it today, they want it now, and the problem is it's not sustainable. So you lose all this weight. What does it matter if you lose 20 pounds if you slowed your metabolism down in the process?
Yeah.
What does it matter if you lose 30 pounds, but you look outside of your clothes, you look like hell. You look like a big, just a smaller bowl.
Melted candle.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm trying to tell people, when you take your clothes off, if you can look in the mirror and be like, damn, that looks amazing, who cares what the scale says? But people are just so focused on the number, man. And even trainers, they start dieting for themselves. They're focused on the number. And I tell people, I was 240 last July, and when I was coming down and starting to look good again, I was still 240.
Yeah,
that never changed. But everybody's opinions of me changed.
Exactly.
Everybody's like, man, you're looking amazing. Man, you chili changed. Wow, 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 wow. Like I did a comparison of a 5-month comparison of me doing arm curls to the same arm curl exercise 5 minutes later. And the weight differential was only 5 pounds, but I look like I'm monster in the second one compared to the first one. Veins, tighter, thicker. Over here, I'm like, just look like a regular arm. So, I think people have to get off the number and realize, fecal matter makes a difference. If you're eating better, you're storing less.
Yeah.
Body fat is both visceral. So if you could be losing that body fat and gaining muscle. It's just, like we have the subcutaneous, you have visceral, you have intracellular. So the thing is, that's why when I'm with my clients, I say, look, we're going to use 3 gauges. We're going to use your body fat test, we're going to use your weight, and we're going to use the mirror.
Yep.
Now, these two can say all the best numbers, but this don't show us, it don't matter.
Exactly.
The mirror is what matters most. These are just gauges. So, and that's, it's a hard sell, man. I mean, it's hard. So people really just have to believe in you.
Yeah, and it goes back to the person you're talking about with the diets and everything. It's because with that person, their show got cut back. So it goes right back to what you were saying, the mental aspect of it. Because thinking, especially this is their first one. Like they're saying, okay, January, no, starting November. November, okay, I'm gonna do a show in April. Let's do it. May, do it in May. So you already have your time frame. Like for me, my show got pushed back it was because I wasn't ready, not because the world said stop. It's just when I'm ready. It's like you told me why. I agree with it. Let's keep going. Yeah. And we kept going, and then I didn't get the best results, but I got the results I was satisfied with for my first show. With this person, the world said we're going to stop. And then you don't get to decide why you're not ready for your show or why you are ready for your show. And that's a lot of mental toughness that you can't keep if you don't know when it's like her thing just got canceled.
Yeah,
so.
No different than what I'm going through, the mental side of it. But, and again, I got to a year mark and I said, okay, I need to take a break, at least for a month, and then we'll get back on it again. Because, sometimes taking a step back to go a little bit further forward is important.
But that's the thing, you've went through it. Like you've done it all. Like you've been doing it forever. Where this person is just getting into it, and it's a different style of eating, different style of training, and it's it's very tough. Like like I said, I understand the mental toughness that goes into it and what that person's going through. So not justifying.
I justify. I mean, it's like I get it. The person is kind of like, it's the next new thing. It's like, I want to try something new.
Yeah.
I want to try something. Like, I still want to eat good. I still want to drop body fat. I still want to look good. I just want to try something new.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. It's just funny because what I'm saying is the consistency is everything, but people are so quick to jump from one thing to another.
Yep.
But, for me, I'm always up for a new challenge because I've never thought about prescribing any carnivore diets.
Yeah.
I mean, I think healthy balance is important, and my reasoning and foundation for thinking that is this: when it comes to general health, America's fatter today than it was in the 90s.
It's getting fatter every day.
So, if all these new advancements in nutrition, all these new gurus, all these new books, everybody, more gyms than ever. Internet like crazy. Anything you want to know, you can know. Yet America's fatter than ever.
Yep.
Because we lose to the potato chip market. And I include all fast foods in the potato chip market. Because you don't have anybody marketing any nutrition program the way Chick-fil-A and McDonald's market their food.
Not at all.
Right? You don't have anybody out there marketing any of the diet pills anywhere near as hard as Subway is marketing back. Foot long, $5
well, let's be
long.
The first one. Let's be the first ones. Let's be the first one.
But here's the other thing about it: the economic scale is twisted, right? Because you have the smaller percentage of people that can afford all the health stuff, and you have a larger percentage that can't.
True.
$5 foot long sounds a whole lot better than that $49.99 container of protein powder.
True.
Right? So I can eat this, it costs less, and it tastes a whole hell of a lot better than this protein shake over here.
Yeah.
Right? Smoothie King, give me a cup like this
for like
$7. Foot long sandwich.
$5.
Hungry in 2 hours. All day. It's like,
not wrong.
Right? So that's the problem. That the problem is, it's like we're always going to take the easier option.
I mean, that's a human thing.
That's a human thing. You're always going to, that's the way your body works. It's always like, let's use our energy as efficiently as possible. Which is why when you're dieting people, you have to keep trying to trick the body. You know, so yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny.
Well, that's why it's our job to figure out how to be better.
No, I mean, definitely, man. That's always the challenge. Is like, you know, how do you? I always say, you know, just try and win the day. Try and be a little better than you were yesterday, and in any way, shape, or form. You know, whether it's a parent, a husband, I mean, all of, you know, a business person, an athlete, a client, whatever your role is for that day, for that time frame. It's about trying to be a little bit better than you were the day before.
Big facts.
So.
Well, this is a good first podcast back after the Rona.
Yeah, man. You know, I think. What, you got a timer behind me or something? No.
I already knew what time we start. I see you trying to time us.
I'm not trying to time us, man. I was looking through my notes. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, show the camera. The camera your phone. Okay, yeah. I see you changing.
Yeah, man. My notes.
I know which time we were on.
How much time are we on?
We started at 3:05. 3:05, and it's 3:57.
Oh, we doing good. We doing good. We got like 3 more hours to go.
3 more. Yeah, okay. Because you got that much time.
Oh no, man! I'm telling you, it's funny. So, what you watching on TV these days?
Actually, haven't been watching a lot. Well, obviously, like I said, I just got off my my annual tour, the annual training, so I was just go, and then I've been watching a little bit of anime when I do cardio. But besides that, I've had time to. Yeah,
that's the one bad habit I picked up during me being sick with COVID.
Yeah, because every time you came along and said, you see this? You see that? Money Heist this?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, because when I was in quarantine, the only time me and my wife would spend together is like 2 hours a night, and that would be her on one end of the couch and me on the opposite end. And that was just so we could still like see each other, you know. And because, I mean, when she found I got COVID, this chick grabbed my bath stuff.
Get out!
Grabbed some clothes, brought it downstairs, say, you can get showered down there in the basement. I was like, damn. I felt like I was rejected, man. I felt like I was thrown out like a piece of trash. Like, damn, it ain't the hives, it's COVID, man.
Got AIDS.
It's like having flu, man. But she's nervous about this thing, man, because, you know, she has her own concerns, so I respect that. But yeah, I mean, you know, you say it all the time, and during quarantine, I was doing some seminars on it. I was posting things on it about control your day. But man, when you're forced to be contained, isolated in a situation, man, it's very easy to just sleep, watch TV and sleep.
Well, when we all found out, which was the last podcast we did.
Yeah.
If anybody's wondering why we haven't been doing podcasts, but when we did that one, the day we found out, so obviously we didn't know who had it, didn't have it, and I stayed home for like 4 or 5 days till I got my results. And you talk, like I said, I'm just like sitting there like, well, I can't go downstairs because my roommates are here, so you know what? I'm just gonna go to sleep. Yeah. I'll study when I wake up, study for like an hour. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to sleep. just because
I mean, like me, I was like, you know, I'm gonna do some programs and I'm gonna read something, and then and it ended up like I do like 2 programs and be like, I'll watch TV for a little bit. And you know what I ended up doing was I realized, oh man, when everybody's asleep, I can be upstairs. You know, because you know you spray everything down with Lysol when you. So I go upstairs and I work. I work on, you know, I'd work on my programs and I watch a little TV while I was watching it, while I was doing, but I just in the house. I just felt like freedom. Yeah. Because I wasn't in the basement because everybody was sleeping. And, you know, so that's how I got in this habit now. So now it's like I try and do programs during the day and work and I'm not efficient at all. But for some reason, man.
That's night people.
midnight, I'll sit down and knock out 10, 15 programs before 3 a.m. You know, and I'm able to get through them really quickly. And then the nice thing is, no one's texting me back because everybody else is asleep. You know, so I don't have a whole bunch of questions coming in. It's awesome, man. It's like, you know, and then the questions the next day are very short because they're busy.
Yeah.
Right. So this is one word, you know, a couple word answers. You know, and it makes it manageable that way, but it's not realistic for the schedule if I'm also trying to work in the gym.
And I was about to say that too. It's just like because I think we've had this conversation before. I say how we're both night people, and like I said, if I had the perfect schedule, obviously when I worked for a traditional job,
Yeah.
I would work from 2 to 10 or 3 to 11, whatever that second shift is. Go work out from like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Come
Right.
home, play video games till like 5 in the morning. Go back to sleep, wake up at like 12 because it's reasonable because I work at night, and that would be my perfect schedule. Now with this, I make my own
You
schedule.
gotta get clients at night, man. I had a guy come in the other day and say, anybody train at midnight or like 5 or 4
I
a.m.?
had one person that wanted to.
4 a.m. I used to, not no more.
And so now I have my schedule's like either it's like today I had a client at 8 a.m., 9, and 10, and then I couldn't stay up late because I had to be at least up by 6 to get my stuff around the house done before I leave. But then if I got clients at 6 in the morning, which sometimes I do, I can't stay up till midnight because I'm getting crap sleep and then all that stuff. So I'm just trying to find that balance because I do most of my great work at night.
Yeah,
but then
me too.
But then I look at the clock and I'm like, yo, if I don't go to sleep now, I'm not getting good sleep.
Yeah.
And then with you working upstairs, like I was going to say that too. Now that I got roommates, everything is confined to my bedroom. Cause like, so right now I have my friends live with me, his wife and 2 kids. And the way it's set up, they pretty much have 2/3 of the house and I have the other third. So the way my upstairs is set up, it's just a big bedroom, walk-in closet, and a bathroom. So really all I have to go downstairs is just eat. And everything else is just upstairs. I got my bed, my love sack, which if anybody can see in the camera, this is like the thing behind them, and my desk, which is right next to my TV and dresser. So having that workspace, bedroom, living room all in one, it's just like, all right, I feel real sleepy. I'm sitting in my
it's too comfortable.
It's just way too much comfortable.
Yeah, they say that's why they say don't put your TV in with your bedroom in your bedroom.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff because you separate the stuff because the bedroom is supposed to be a place to sleep.
Yep.
And you know I noticed that with me, man. I'll be fine. I walk upstairs, look at my bed. Especially if my wife is laying in, I'm like, oh man, I want to lay down. You know? like,
exactly.
Let me get out of here. Run.
Because before they moved in, I had.
Be productive.
Before they moved in, I had I didn't have I haven't had the TV in my bedroom for I want to say like 8 years now. Yeah. Until they moved in.
I mean that's kind of skewed though because we got phones.
Yeah.
You don't need a TV. It's like everything is on your phone.
True. And I did do that. So, like, when me and my ex were together, like, if she would fall asleep before I do, and I'm in bed, and I'm just looking, I was like, let me see what's on the gram real quick, and then it'd be a link to somebody's YouTube, and then I end up watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, how do you watch YouTube? You just put your earphones in?
Well, it was she slept hard, so I just would just hear it, and then she wouldn't hear it. She wouldn't hear it at all. But what I try doing now, which has been working for me better, is to put my phone like on the dresser and then just make myself get up to get the phone if I need to. But
right.
Even then,
I do that messaging like I talk about all the time to fall asleep. You know, sometimes I get through a ton of them, sometimes I get through like 5. But
you just comment on stuff, comment on my things on Instagram, like, yeah, man, bananas. It's like, what?
You noticed me though. You noticed me.
I didn't respond to it. I just saw you at work the next day. I'm like, what are you talking about bananas at 3 in the morning for?
Yeah, you gotta have fun with this thing, man. You know, social media is just like a big party, right? So if you're too serious, which I've often been accused of being too serious, then nobody wants to party with you. So I'm trying to loosen it up, man. Bananas.
Nah, you just half asleep. That's all it was.
Nah, but you know, I think for the people, man, you just gotta, you know, when it comes to dieting and all that kind of stuff, like if you can remember, just be patient. You know, be patient. And if you're doing cardio, if you're eating better, cleaner, and you know, you have some meals where you're a little hungry before you get into it, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And you're lifting weights, using some shredding and blue heat. Shameless plug.
Your plugs. So shameless.
But they work. They fucking work, so it's good, right? So I mean, I don't sleep one night without my goddamn Blue Heat.
I want to try it so bad.
That shit is awesome, man. But well, the new formula we're going to do is going to change a couple things so you'll be able to try it. But but it's a great product, and but when you do these things, you got to know and you got to believe that the fat loss is going to come. How can it stay?
Yeah.
You know, you're changing your daily habits. You're being more active, and the other thing people don't account for is, are you being active throughout the day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you walking more steps? Are you doing, like, I mean, us as trainers, God, how much energy we spend loading and unloading plates, and, right? But most people can get sucked into, they get on a diet, and it's like, automatically in their head, they're like, oh, I'm not going to have as much energy because I'm not eating as much. And all of a sudden, they park closer to the door. That's less steps.
Yep.
They oh man, I'm tired, and they're sitting on the couch more. You got to stay active during the day. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's mental. Keep your water elevated, your vitamin intake elevated. All these things will allow you to have more energy. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. That's huge. People don't get it. They're trying to lose fat and then they don't sleep. They go, oh, it's not working.
Staying up.
Well, damn, your body's inflamed. Your body had no time to rest. You know, your body didn't have a chance to reset. Mm-hmm. So everything's not processing as quickly, and your body's holding on to everything. You know, because it's tired. Yep. So we have to make sure that sleep becomes a big part of that. But yeah, man, I feel good. And we talked about some fun stuff today.
It hasn't been you and me in a minute.
It hasn't. But, you know, I feel like we got some...
The way you started it, I was like, it's not serious.
Well, you're the one with the choker on. I didn't know.
First of all, it's my mask. I came from work, all right? Is that the teeth on there? I can't see.
No, it didn't.
Other way.
Yeah,
whatever.
Okay. The mask is jacked up.
Yeah, whatever.
Just give it up.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Is it right?
Yeah, the above and beyond physique's one better, but yeah,
well, I had to watch that today.
I feel you. You don't be walking around with the muscle man.
What's that smell?
Hell, yeah.
It's you. But
like when you spot somebody like, ooh.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Oh man.
Actually, we were talking about that earlier, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
No, we're not gonna talk about that today. But thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Hope you got something out of this and had fun having a conversation with Rashad and myself. See you next week. Peace.
Peace.